Your video content can be surfaced across various different platforms and operating systems. For example, desktop with a browser, mobile with a browser, or indeed mobile native. And you need some way of tracking all of the different errors that are occurring in the front end. Errors in the front end are probably the most difficult to detect and the most complex to diagnose reasons why a particular stream is not being watched, why a user is having a poor experience, or indeed why an ad is not filled for whatever reason. So it's really, really important that you have coverage over that front end estate from mobile native all the way to desktop browser, and you can view those alerts in some kind of coherent and consistent way. Let me give you an example. So you can see here that we have various different networks, have some exceptions going on and so on. What we can do is we can actually look at the number of users that were impacted by a particular error, which is nice. And this gives us a really good view of what's actually going on in the system. We can see that most of these errors have only hit a few users, so we'll maybe expand the time frame a little bit and see if something has been a bit more impactful. So there we go. This sig trap error here in a Apple sort of Swift language stack has got 109 users impacted. So right away, rather than having to look at the sort of logs or whatever telemetry we have for mobile and then browser and so on, we can say this one is impacting a lot of people, 216 individual errors there. This is actually part of the RUM templating functionality, by the way. So what we're doing is we're clustering together the various different reasons why. We can see all the different users that have been impacted by this particular error. We can see the associated stack trace in the Swift code in this example. So this is the front-end browser, the front-end mobile application that's been failing here. We can look at analytics to see what versions were happening. Platform, it was obviously iPhone, iOS. We can see the location, which is North America. And we can see the users, number of errors. We can see the tags. This is the version tag here, which is 1.0.0. And we can also see the number of times it's happened for this particular app version. So if it's happening across multiple versions, or indeed it's been introduced by a version, this is what will appear. So why does this matter? As we mentioned in the introduction to RUM video, this is your digital experience right here. This is a view of the errors that are impacting your customer's ability to view their stream. It's one thing to encode the video, to package it up, transcode in your advertisements to make sure you're filling all those available ad slots and matching those SCTI 35 markers to the ads and delivering that to the customer. But it's another thing to make sure that they can actually view it in real terms. And this is what this is. It's the final step in your Elemental stack to better understand everything that's going on from your customer's eyes all the way back to those sort of raw encoder logs and MP4 file loading and things like that. So this is a really, really nice way of viewing the actual error that's been happening, what's been going across your system, whether it's on native mobile, browser mobile, whether it's on Android, iOS, or indeed JavaScript in the browser, whether it's mobile or website. And once again, this can all be done without any dependency on indexing, because if we tick show archive here, what it's going to do is it's going to reach to the S3 bucket and it's going to render that data. You'll notice it takes a couple of seconds longer, but if you decide to include some particularly noisy errors in your monitoring level to save money, but also to clean up your index, then what you get is access to everything, whether it's indexed or not. And in my opinion, that's extraordinarily powerful. So just as a recap, this is a view to give you an idea of the kind of browser and mobile native based errors that are impacting your user's ability to watch the stream. So this is the closest you will get to your user's eyes and your ability to really deeply understand which errors keep coming up, correlate those with revenue impacting events such as ad failure, ad fill failures, or for example, sudden drops in streaming. You can actually go and look at this at the same time and say, oh, hey, we saw an error appear in the front end, and it was correlated with some errors in the streaming side of things. So this is really, really nice for that. It gives you a super powerful view of everything that's going on. And of course, the other thing you can do is you can actually highlight this as well. So I can see, for example, in my highlight view, we have the errors being flowing in here, so we can see the actual activity of the error itself, but we can also see the screens on which this is occurring. There's two different controllers that are generating this error. We can see the devices, app versions, OS, country, environment, and user emails. These are not applicable, obviously, they haven't been set. But we can see here that there is no pattern between device, app version, OS, and country. It's all the same. And this could be really interesting to basically eliminate lines of investigation when you're trying to work out what's going on. But we've even pinned it down to the exact piece of code that is propagating this error for you. So it's centralized, it's high level, and then it's very, very detailed in a single click. This is a really great way of staying ahead of that edge front-end estate and making sure that you have a complete understanding of what your user sees as they see it.